Alright everybody, hello and welcome. As always, I'm Sean. This is In The Mixer. Welcome to episode 19 of our Pentagon Challenge. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the save so far. If you haven't gone and checked out the episodes from last week, go and have a look at them. They're very important to bring you up to date on where we are heading this week, which is the knockout stages of the Champions League. We're still trying to get our first Champions League trophy, still in China, still trying to work our way through, get that first kind of tick box and that first fulfilled trophy. What is it? Up on that side over there so that we can move on, head to Africa and try and get that Champions League as well. We really want to try and get through as much of this as we can before FM22 comes out, but we have to try and stay patient. It's our first real attempt at the competition and trying to win it, and we've got a huge tie, one very close to my heart and very close to home as well. So let's jump in and see how we've got. So for those of you who weren't already familiar, we did draw Central Coast Mariners in the second round, first leg and second leg obviously, but in the second round is what I was trying to say. The first game is the home game. We'll then play away from home in the second one. If you're not familiar with Central Coast and you didn't click because of how beautiful the thumbnail no doubt looks, they are one of the clubs in the Hyundai, or not the Hyundai A-League, in the A-League, even though it says Hyundai there, that logo is out of date. Based on the kind of mid-coast of New South Wales in Australia, they have had a fantastic season actually. They've come off the back of quite a few really poor years where they were down towards the bottom of the table, but lately they've been picking it back up. They've actually had a really good start to this season in real life, only just dropping off the top of the table this past weekend. However, in-game, they have kind of gotten a lot better. So they've still got 2 regular season titles, 2008, 2012. Those are real. And then final series wins, they've actually won 3 of the last 5, which is very interesting. So it is quite a strong lineup. They do still have some real players in their lineup. Louis Dorigo is one. He's 31 years of age now, but he's a fantastic young midfielder at Adelaide United in the real world. Potentially, if you're going to watch any of the Olympic football stuff, he will be one of the players, I think, in the Australian squad for sure. They got Nicholas Jednak, which is an interesting one. Mile Jednak, old Crystal Palace captain from back in the day. He actually started his A-League career at the Central Coast way back when. Interesting that name has bobbed up on this regen player. Nobody else, it looks like, in their starting 11. Maybe this Paulson person, Alex Paulson, 30-year-old Kiwi. Looks to be the only other real player that's in their squad, but they will have some very, very good talent about them. They have a long history of bringing through big players, big clubmen, big future Socceroos, all that sort of stuff. Emiliano Marati is the one they're calling out as being their star, a right winger who looks pretty solid, to be fair. Good physical traits, good mental traits, technique. Needs a little bit of work, but that is the story of a lot of the A-League footballers. They are managed as well by New Zealand international Jeremy Brockie. Shout out to all of our Kiwi friends across the Dutch. Had a long playing career in and around the A-League quite a bit. Spent some time over in South Africa as well, if anyone's watching from that part of the world. Looks like he had quite a bit of a spell off before he got his first role with the Phoenix in the A-League and has been with the Mariners now for the last 4 seasons, where he's got a pretty good winning record as well, it must be said. He's won an FFA Cup. He's been in the Champions League a few times. He's gotten around to the second round each of the times that he's entered that competition. So I think Central Coast are going to be a decent challenge. They're at 2.5-star reputation, which is actually the same as us. So we have kind of made that jump up to an A-League level. The A-League itself is 3 spots behind the Chinese Super League in terms of overall continental reputation, which could make for an interesting tie, an interesting fixture. In the games that you guys haven't seen, we've got 3 straight victories, which puts us at the moment at 6 straight wins, which is an equal record for the most consecutive victories for Shenyang Urban in our time and any time prior to that as well. So if we get a victory in today's game, we are probably going to make some history as well and have the all-time wins in a row record. Still no one able to get anywhere near Shandong. They have had a defeat, thankfully, to Beijing, but they are still 4 points clear, even though we are having a relatively good run to start the season as well. As far as the squad's concerned, no massive changes. De Silva, of course, not registered, which I kind of regret a little bit. Ren Qingyi, our usual starting right back, is suspended for this game due to an accumulation of yellow cards. He will be back for the away leg. We are going to go with our attacking instruction and go that proper gegenpressing style, really try and turn the screws a little bit, playing the first leg at home, and then once we go away from home, we'll drop back to our possession-based style, play a little bit deeper, play a little bit more conservative, I guess, in the way that we're trying to keep the ball away from home, and hopefully by employing both of those tactics across the 2 legs, we can get good results and get ourselves through to the next knockout round. Whole lot of football to get through though, so let's jump into the match and see how we're going to start out this Champions League second round knockout match. No immediate issues or concerns with the team that they've put out there. I think they're going to be playing a pretty straightforward 4-3-3. which doesn't do too badly against our shape and structure. Our recent form, you can see there, excellent 5 straight victories as we head into this match, albeit a slightly different lineup that's playing in the Champions League due to registration requirements for us. They're going to play a similar 4-2-3-1 with a deeper midfielder, so a little bit of a change to what we looked at in their tactic prior to jumping in the match. But it should be an interesting contest. They've got the first real highlight of the match, starting with the set piece. Muradi, that danger man, he looks to be the guy trying to cut it back in. Dorigo looks to pinball it around. We scramble it away, and then it is brought back because Muradi was offside in the build-up. But first highlight goes Central Coast's way. Thankfully, not registering a strike on target during that period, though. Goal kick, long one forward, and no one challenges on our side, which is a bit frustrating. Ball back into midfield. Howe with possession. Back to the base of midfield. Muradi, again, with a great ball across the stand. I think that drive was just going wide, but Minkun did well to get down, save, and hold. We're going to throw a Demand More shout out there with about 15 minutes going in the half. We haven't really had much in the way of highlights or really any stats to speak of as far as Shenyang is concerned. If we do get into halftime with the stat line remaining very similar, we might make that jump to the possession style a little bit earlier. Maybe it's better suited to coming up against Central Coast 4-2-3-1 in midfield. They have had the most of it. We've had 1 shot, 1 on target, 0.13 XG and 47% possession. For the Mariners, 5 shots, 2 on target, 0.68 and 53% of the ball. I'm going to thrash my arms, say I'm far from pleased, and then we're going to make that tactical adjustment, go across to the possession-based style. And let's see if we can't pick ourselves up a little bit here in the second half. So throw in again going the Mariners' way. Ball back stick is cleared pretty convincingly. But a good ball across there from Dorigo to Castley. Backstick ball, and Terry was there far post. Just headed over the crossbar, so immediately they've come straight back out, creating chances again. And we've got an injury. It's Yanardis, the right midfielder, who did pick up a knock in the previous game. We did leave him out and get him back to full fitness. He wasn't playing particularly well anyway, but Zheng Jun, who's also had a spell on the sidelines, he will come in on the right-hand side. And you know what? We're through the hour mark as well now, so I am going to go and make some additional changes. And we're going to go on performance for these ones because there's a few rough-looking details out there. Souza's not played well, so Chao Ru will come on. Bai Liang has not played well, filling in at right back. Or do I want to go with Qi Long and try and get some fresh legs up front? We need a difference maker, so we'll go with Qi Long coming off, and Jun will come off the bench. He did get he did get a goal in the previous episode as well, coming off the bench. I'm going to throw one more Demand More shout out there with 30 minutes remaining. Nil or draw doesn't kill us, but the manner of the performance kind of is a bit frustrating. Charu's given up possession there, and a long ball down the line should get recovered by Zhu Qi, or Chi. Dao Wen, first real possession that we've had in any highlight thus far. Forward to Jun, the fresh sub. Wang Ang can work it out to the right-hand side. Zheng Jun loses out to Page, but it is recovered by Maresh. We've got a man over here on the left. It is Maresh again. Can he get a good cross in the box? Cut back to Hao. Maresh again goes towards near post. It pinballs around, and Zheng Jun is knocked it home. I'm not saying we deserve that. I'm not saying we've been the better team by any stretch, but that could be a huge goal in terms of the overall complexion of the tie. It's a lovely little interchange here. We don't rush the ball in. Wait for a good one. Maresh gets it across. It's cleared by Ferrero, and then Wang An with the mindset to go and see the spot the open man over on the far post. Zheng Jun gets to slide that one back beyond the keeper, and now we've got something to work with going into the second leg. It's a little bit highway robbery if you look at the stats. But as we head into the last 10 minutes, I'm going to throw Demand More. They've got a set piece, which they've just flicked over the crossbar. So still a danger. We just need to maintain our focus here and really try and get through to the 90th minute. 5 additional minutes to be added on. Or there's a brief little flick up highlight there. And here comes a very late one also. Dao Wen with a good tackle. Liang runs it straight out of play when he didn't need to. He had all the time in the world. We're through the 5 minutes. Blow the whistle, ref. It's back to Stanton. They try and cross it in. Dao Wen closes it down. Surely, referee, that's enough. We're through 40 extra seconds in injury time. Liang just clears it long. Edwards looks to put it back in. Back to Muradi. And the referee calls full time. It's a big performance. Not a good performance, but a big result. That's desperately what we needed. Man, we really did rob them a bit. They had 14 shots, 5 on target, 1.62 XG, and 50% of the ball. We had 4-3 and 0.44. Not our best performance, but we did get most of those shots towards the end once we made those tactical tweaks. Zhu Qi, pick of the players, 7.8 match rating at centre back, leading the line. Our defensive lines were actually quite good. You look at that kind of like back 7 or 8 that we've got there. They've done very well. Zheng Jun is 7.5 off the bench as well with that match-winning goal. Bit of a disappointment from our marquee Brazilian wingers, but that's okay. Hopefully they can pick themselves up in the second leg. I'm going to say good win, boys. Well done. And we've got something to defend now heading into the second leg, which is absolutely huge. Not a happy day for any of the A-League clubs. Adelaide also losing, Western Sydney also losing. Melbourne City got the win against Shandong. They must be travelling quite well. Shout out to my boys. I don't know how I'll go if we eventually draw them at some point in this contest. None of the other Chinese sides, of course, making it out of the group stages, which is to be expected, I guess. Unitas out, pulled calf muscle 3 to 4 weeks. He's not had the greatest run with injuries, to be completely honest. I just look at the frequency of all these injuries since his entire career. This is always a good page to keep an eye on before you buy a player. Just go and have a quick look at it. But yeah, it's a few moderate injuries in the last couple of years, or major injuries in the last couple of years, which isn't great. We get 339k, that's huge for us. Zhush Qi could use a rest. We might rest him for the game against Guangzhou, but we are going to play that one off screen. So magic of editing, I'm going to jump forward to the second leg against Central Coast now. All right, so we are a couple of days further ahead. Weirdly, the quarterfinal and semi-final draws are happening before the second leg. The game just in hand that we just played against Guangzhou, we lost, which sucks, but we were 2-0 down. We started pushing to get like a equaliser to really go after a little bit. They got another one in additional time. We pulled one back even later than that. Given that some of our starting players weren't actually available and our keeper played really poorly, like we're going to lose games throughout the course of the season. It only sees us drop down to third. So we're still in the top 4 spots. No need to panic just yet, but frustrating that the win streak is over. But before we do that, let's jump in and have a look at the draws. We'll just go automatic draw. Keep in mind, the Asian Champions League quarter and semi-finals are split kind of east and west. So teams from the west are basically in the Middle East, like the ones that you can see here. Or then you've got the eastern sides, which are Japan, China, Australia. So we're going to play Ulsan or Western Sydney Wanderers if we go through beyond Central Coast Mariners. Ulsan, I believe, are carrying the advantage into the second leg. Semi-finals, this will be chaotic, so let's just let this one play out. And of course, remember, Asian Champions League, the final itself is played across 2 legs. It's the champion kind of of the east side versus the champion of the west side, and they play each other home and away. So if we go through against Ulsan, Western Sydney or Central Coast, we'll play one of Shandong, Melbourne City, Jeonbuk or Adelaide United. Jeonbuk and Melbourne City both in the box seats really as far as our side of the draw is concerned. And looking at the lineup, we're of course making that tactical tweak, going to the possession-based style, trying to defend this 1-0 lead. Couple of changes. Qing Yi will come in at right back. He would have started in the previous game if he weren't out suspended, so that is good. Hao is back in because he is playing in our Champions League games. I did drop him, and now I'm realising he's got like a really good current form rating and average rating for De Silva. Zhang Jun as well, who was excellent getting the goal for us in the first leg. He will come in for the injured Unitas, who's out for another 2 weeks just yet. But big game as far as the overall series is concerned. Big game for our season. If we go out, I will probably just jump forward, I think, to the end of the season in the next episode this week. But I desperately want to try and get through. Let's start going on a bit of a run. Let's build a bit of a, not European, continental legacy. That's the word I'm looking for. And let's try and improve our club reputation along the way. They're playing a 4-3-3 this time. So maybe they've got like one different shape away from home to what they use at home. We're, of course, going with our possession-based 4-2-3-1 in this game. We will keep one eye on the other fixtures and results as well. Keep an eye on this Ulsan Western Sydney match because that is the one that is potentially going to have an impact on our next leg. First 15 minutes, no highlights for either side, but Min Kun is in possession for us now. Long ball forward towards Wang An. He can get there first as well, and he's got a little bit of space goal side. Strike wasn't great though. Paulson in the Mariners goal saves and holds very, very well. But first highlight goes our direction. That's complete opposite to what it was in the last game. Corner taken by Murati. Good header away there from Zhu Qi. Long ball forward towards Qilong isn't great, but Souza should pick up the scraps and can beat a man in 1v1 situations. Good switch out now to the right-hand side. What can we do with that quick change of pace? We can immediately give them the ball back is what's ended up happening. Qing Yi stands up Stanton and wins it back in a great area. Qilong gets goal side. Can he find the finish? That is an absolutely fantastic finish for him. And 2-0 up now and an away goal in hand. It's going to take something very, very special from the Mariners to try and overturn this deficit, or it'll take us switching off entirely. Qilong does very well. That lovely touch there. Gets it out in front of him. He hasn't got much of an angle to work with from that wide area, but he just puts it in up inside of the upright. Always great when a shot hits a post and crosses the line. Adds a little bit of flavour to that goal. And with 10 minutes remaining in the half, I'm just going to throw praise out there. And let's try and get everyone a little bit of a morale boost. No shots, just as I've said that, they've had a shot. But no shots up to like the 45th minute for Central Coast. So tactically, we do seem to be on top of them. I'm going to say I'm very pleased with the performance. Keep it up. And we're just going to give it 15 more minutes before we look at subs and changes. And there's a couple of match ratings out there. I'm probably going to look more, I think, on conditioning for this particular one because we really need to focus on our defensive work rate first. Corner to be taken here, Murati. It's headed away. Souza can come the opposite direction. Can switch it out to Zheng Jun, who's got some space on the right-hand side. He goes to Qilong again, who goes for power instead of pace. Maybe could have tried to find a corner. Power instead of pace. Power instead of precision is what I meant to say. But we're going to hit pause and we're going to have a quick look at these subs. Condition-wise, there's some yellow cards out there as well. Do I need to be wary of those? Yeah, we might be a bit more wary of those. Chun Jin will come on for Qi, who is got not great condition at the moment anyway. And Diao Wen will come off for Jiang Bin. And the last one is Zheng Jun. How do we want to work it for him? Maybe we'll bring on Lu Jun on that right-hand side. Bit of fresh legs up front as well. Maybe that will help. I'm going to throw a Demand More shout out there as well. 2 gritty 1-0 wins. Home and away wouldn't be the worst result. I probably would have taken it at the start of the episode if it had been offered up to me. But we're getting into the last 10 minutes here and we haven't really seen anything from Central Coast in this match. Just as I'm saying that, I think they're about to get a penalty. They have got a penalty. This could be about to be a huge boil over. 85th minute, and he's missed the penalty. Ferrero puts it past the right-hand side. Mingjun had gone the right way. If it had been on target, though, I'm not sure if he even would have gotten there. 4 minutes of additional time to be added on at this one, and this could be a famous victory as far as Shenyang is concerned, and it is indeed. We go through 2-0 on aggregate. On the day, in the end, Central Coast came flying back into that late on. 7 shots thrown on target, 1.49 XG, and 49% possession for the Mariners, plus that missed penalty that really, I think, broke them a little bit. 4 shots, 2 on target, 0.6 XG, and 51% of the ball. We've won ugly. Definitely we've won ugly. And that is our first win in the Champions League knockout rounds. And we get a bit of cash for that, nearly $1 million, which is fantastic. We get Ulsan Hyundai, who've gone through their leg. All in all, 6-0 on aggregate against Western Sydney. Not a great performance from the Wanderers. The other 2 teams that have gone through are Jeonbuk and Melbourne City on away goals in the end, falling 2-1 to Shandong at home. So we've got 2 Korean sides, 1 Chinese side, 1 Australian side in the final 4 from the Eastern Conference. Some big clubs in the West as well. We'll talk more about them, I guess, as we get into the final 4 teams. And those fixtures are fairly far away. So we've got a good couple of months before we want to come back and try and get those matches in. We've got a couple of games in the Chinese FA Cup as well, likely during that period. So we are going to jump forward a bit of a section of the season before the next episode. But hopefully between now and the end of the week, I will be able to bring you guys those quarterfinal ties as we continue to work our way towards hopefully our first Champions League title in this challenge. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. That's the part I appreciate the most. If you want to help support this channel, if you want to help celebrate our second round victory against the Mariners, you can drop a like on this video. You can also subscribe to the channel to be kept up to date on all of our future videos that will continue to release all the way up until FM22. But more than anything, as always, I just appreciate you all watching along with me. As always, I've been Sean, and I'll see you all again in the mixer.